Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever or whenever you may be. I am DM Foss, and this is the overnight. Joining me tonight is Shafty. How you doing, Shafty?
Hello, fellow humans. I come in peace.
You were out fishing.
I
How'd it go?
was. I had terrible luck. It was nice to be outside, though.
Ah, and DJ, how you doing tonight?
I am doing well.
Oh, that's good. And Baron, how you doing, Baron?
Fantastic.
That's fantastic. So let's see who was out there real quick. Let me scroll back to the top. Sergeant Joe Smith is out there. DJ is here, there, and everywhere. Krabby Turtle. I think he went to bed though. Carolina
Smart
EDC.
man.
I think he also dropped in and then went to bed. And Smaggy42. How's it going, Smaggy? And PNW Woods. Mike McClune. 2 live movies. The Ghost of Christmas. And gun-toting pacifist. It's just gun-toting. It's not the gun-toting anymore. It's gun-toting. He's becoming more efficient. And I think that was everybody. If I missed you, I apologize. So hopefully everybody's doing all right tonight. Tonight we were going to talk just about EDC stuff, about kind of looking at the pros and cons of each kind of typical EDC gun, like 1911 versus revolver versus semi-auto, and just kind of give our opinions on them. And it's not so much to pick which is the best, but just, if you're thinking about one versus the other, just different aspects to keep in mind, we'll say. So first, let me say hello to G Webs. How you doing, G Webs?
Good. Thanks for the invite.
Oh, no problem. And uh-oh. So which should we start with? That was a question for the panel. Which one do we want to start with?
Well, I think we can all agree 9mm is terrible and no one should carry it, right?
Well, everybody can choose their own way.
I abstain from that, Baron. I abstain because actually I do carry 9. I carry 9 in a Walther CCP, which is also like a short magazine. It would be okay in most states that have some sort of restriction. Sorry for all those Washingtonians out there who are sorely reminded of that. I don't have a problem carrying 9. I am really comfortable with the CCP. It's got a grip and a grip texture that suits me better than fine, and I don't feel limited by the number of rounds. I've also, and we'll probably get to this later, carried a revolver every day. So that's me checking in on 9mm and my EDC.
So he carries a CCCP?
Oh, man, no. This thing, come on now. This thing was made in Germany and exported to Fort Smith, Arkansas. So it's like a German by way of, I don't know, hillbilly or something like that. It's pretty far away from the Soviet Union.
I don't know. I guess we'll kind of start out with that, what we each do carry, and then we'll go through the different platforms. I carry, lately, past few months, it's been one of two, either my PPK or CZ75 Compact. Those have been the main ones I've been carrying. So 9mm and a shorter 9mm. I do sometimes carry revolver. Normally, it'll be the Model 360, the Airweight snubby. And then when I want to be a little flashy, as flashy as you can be with a Taurus, my 65 with the wood grips on it.
Got any pics of that?
Yeah, I think I gotta look to see if it's on this computer. So since you're talking, why don't you say if you carry what you carry, Baron?
2 world wars. I carry a 1911. I'm a little old fashioned. I do have a pic. Should I pull it up while you're finding yours?
Well, here I got mine. Here, that's my lowly Taurus, which I like the frosted stainless look on the Tauruses.
It'll put holes in someone.
That does look pretty badass.
It's 357, so, and there we go. You can. Oops! Whoa! Where are we going? Wrong one. There we go. Trying to so you can see my Danger Mouse grip. There. I know it's conceited, but yeah, I don't care.
It's better than a Punisher skull.
At least you don't
No
have your
doubt.
channel tattooed on your arm. Right?
Hesitation in the answer, Foss. Come on now.
Well, no, I closed the window and I thought I had closed too many windows. So I got back to where I need to be. I don't know. It's since my logo is a ripoff, it's a little different. Yeah, if I tattooed my name or something like that on myself, I could see that. Do you got your 1911 picture? Oops.
Yep.
I didn't mean to share. Let me stop sharing because I didn't mean to be sharing that. There we go. Oh, thank you.
There
Hang
you
on
go.
one quick second. There we go. So there's the banner if you want to submit pictures, suggestions, or comments. On tactilfoss@gmail.com or www.mouseparty.live. Thank you to Shafty for reminding me.
No problem.
So sorry, Baron. Go ahead.
There's my 1911. It's a Colt XSE in 45 AARP. Yeah, not super special, but I like it. And when I'm not carrying that, I'm carrying a 586 L comp and 357 mag.
Nice. DJ,
Yes, sir.
how about you?
Oh, a picture?
Well, you don't know. You don't have to have a picture. You can just tell us.
Oh, well, I was being serious about that CCP carry. So what I'll do is I'll take a picture of that. I don't, if we're going to talk about revolvers as carry as well, because I do alternate sometimes. When I carry a revolver on that day that is my everyday, it's more of a barbecue gun, really. I'll carry it all day. It's not just for events, but it's more like a special occasion sort of deal. And that's only when I can open carry. Otherwise, I'm concealed carry limited in my city, and that means it's that Walther 9.
Gunpowder beauties out there. Good evening. Good morning. I think it's morning for you. Oh, what was I doing? And G Webs. I know you like the. There we go.
It's LCR.
Yeah, I always forget if it's the LCR or LCRX.
X has a useless hammer on the back. some reason, to give it more points to get dirty and get stuff in it.
That's a well-loved pistol right there.
So I got yours, DJ, and I'll call it up here. Let's do that. Then we'll do that, and we'll just do it that way. So there's your CCP.
Yeah, it's just a quick shot that I took sitting right next to me on the floor here. So it's 8 rounds mag. There's 1 in the pipe on the gun itself, and that dual mag pouch. Sometimes it's on me. Sometimes it's just somewhere nearby, like in my console in the vehicle sort of thing. I don't always carry the 2 loaded mags.
I don't know if I've ever shot one. I may have, because when I go to the range, every now and again, I'll look to see what they have in the case to rent, just to try out new guns and stuff. I'd have to go back.
I am possessed of medium-sized hands, and that might be generous. And so I have found, pardon me, I have found it to be the most comfortable in my hand. There was somebody out there, I think it was Smeggy, talking about carrying the CZ. And those frames, those full-size frames, a lot like the Beretta 92 frames, it's not wise to have that be my everyday because I am not as confident in them, and they don't fit me quite as well. I would actually rather carry that 92. Don't have a CZ to carry. I'd rather carry something that's got a little bit larger on a regular size frame, but I have questionable man hands.
Well, that's all right.
Try grabbing bigger things, and your hands will adapt to bigger and bigger things.
Yeah.
Stretch. Right on.
So, why don't we go with start with the 1911. I don't own any 1911s. I have, I was going to call up the picture of the 1911 again. Do I have it, or do you have it, Barry?
I have it.
There we go.
There you go.
As you had said, 2 world wars. And I guess you could include the 9mm, although I don't. I choose not to think about there being a 9mm 1911. Other than the like the Kimber Micro 9s, I'll give those a pass. But for full size 1911s, I just it's wrong. It should be 45 or 10mm. I guess would be all right. But
What about 38 Super?
yes, I'll give that one a pass also. Partly because Paul Harrell loves it.
So you'll have the same capacity as a 9, but more power.
Yeah. So when you carry the one of the reasons I don't have one is the manual of arms.
Yeah.
The safety. And I know, with practice and training that I could get that down, no problem. But everything I carry all double action, single action. So it's all the same. Every gun, no matter what brand, what type, or I guess not that one, whichever one I carry, it's the exact same thing when I draw and present. So I do have some that have safeties, which I don't use. But I want it to be exactly the same if I unholster, reholster, draw, fire, it's the same action. And the 1911 is a different action.
So you're worried about not getting that safety off when you want to pull the trigger.
Well, that, or if I go, if I draw one that doesn't have a safety and I go to take it off safe, and that's just another step where it's not going off safe. So is that a hitch where I'm trying to get it off safe, but there is no safe? There is no safety there to do. So I just prefer to have everything the same.
That makes sense. I've been shooting them for, God, 16 years. So I'm not worried. I mean, it is a concern if you're like coming from a Glock, never shot 1911, you're going to start carrying it. Yeah, you're probably, that's, you might want to practice.
Yeah, and I may, someday I may have one and not to carry because, like I have my Glock, which I don't carry because it's not the same as all my other guns. It's the only striker fire that I own. So it's not the gun itself I have a problem with. It's just I want, like I said, I want everything to be the same. Do you carry it cocked and locked?
Yep.
And I can't remember which condition is which. Condition 0, condition 1, condition 2.
I don't remember either. Cocked and locked. That's all I need to know. But yeah, I'm either carrying that outside waistband or in a shoulder holster.
And anybody else can chime in here as we're talking.
I haven't even shot mine yet. And I don't know how I would carry it because it's a Series 70 copy. But I didn't really buy it as a carry gun. I bought it just because it was cool.
So you worried about the lack of a firing pin safety?
Yeah, in case I drop it, fumble it out of the holster or something. But yeah, I haven't even shot it yet, so I'm not going to be carried for right now.
This used to be a Series 80, and I converted it to a Series 70.
Foss, I sent you a picture of it too on Discord.
Okay, yeah, I saw it.
But yeah, I don't know yet. I bought it mainly as a barbecue gun, actually.
So there's Shafties. Have you, Baron, have you tried the fast safeties on any of your 1911s?
Is that the one Yankee uses?
Yeah.
Where the hammer is dropped?
Yeah.
And then you take the safety off and it cocks the hammer? No, I haven't done that.
Smeggy saying no safety is the way to go. Yeah, I kind of wish the guns I have that have safeties, I'd prefer them not to have safeties, but it's only been a problem on one, the PK380, which has other problems also. Why I don't ever carry it. Where I've had the safety just moving it around, then it bumps it to where it clicks on. I want to say good evening to Michael Dunn and Luke. Good evening. Good evening.
Yeah, with all my dry fire practice, the CCP does have a safety on the side there. I've just through all of those repetitions come to drop my thumb down. It's similar to a 1911 safety, is to go thumb down as my finger comes up parallel to the barrel. I don't think I could do that consistently with anything else unless I practice that much. And hey, Foss, I went ahead and I grabbed because I couldn't remember which condition that might be as well. So reading from the American Rifleman website, some years ago, Colonel Jeff Cooper, the Gunsight Academy founder, came up with these. Condition 3, the pistol contains a loaded magazine, the chamber is empty, and the hammer is down. These are for 1911s. Condition 2, the pistol contains a loaded magazine, a cartridge loaded into the chamber, and the hammer is down. And then finally, condition 1, that's where the pistol has a loaded magazine, cartridge is loaded in the chamber, hammer is cocked, and the thumb safety is engaged. I think
Yeah,
there are other
so
considerations. So I'll try to dig out some more.
condition 3 would also be what's called Israeli carry, where they'll draw and then rack the slide.
I will say with 1911s though, when you go to like unholster them, your thumb does pretty naturally right on that safety.
Yeah, it's part of your
Yeah,
grip and presentation. It's natural.
I don't think it'd be too difficult to flip it off. I don't even think you'd have to think about it.
What about the weight? That's another complaint that I've seen. People complain about the weight. I don't mind the heavier guns, but is that something that you feel, or do you just get used to it? Or
Um, this is actually a lightweight model, so it's not that heavy.
Mine's pretty heavy, but I have a good belt. That's the biggest thing with a heavy gun is you just have to have a good belt.
And though I have a good belt, when I'm carrying anything heavier than the CCP, which is poly frame, I can tell, but that's based on like hip injury and probably at my age some arthritis as well. If I'm carrying my my 44 revolver after 4 or 5 hours, I can tell, and I actually start to ache. And so that's another reason that I only carry it on certain occasions.
Pacifist is asking if you have a palm safety. Why do you need a thumb safety? And I think the palm safety was the Army required that on the pistol.
Yeah, it wasn't on the 1910.
Just so to help GI proof it.
They were popular back then.
The grip safety is because of cavalry, horseback riding, and if you drop it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I guess we can go. Let's go revolvers. I'll take that down there, and let me call up. Oh, come on, where are you? This one here. This is my airweight J frame that I'll carry, and what I carry two speed loaders, and this is a 5-shot revolver. So there's 15 shots of 357. You could carry 38 special with the airweight. With the J frames, one of the drawbacks is they're small, and especially the airweights, they're light.
Yep.
So you feel that recoil, especially with 357. 38, I don't think is that bad. And putting the Hogue grips on, changing out the stock for the Hogue grips, helped a lot with control. With the stock, I can't do half a box of, I can't do 25 rounds at a time, just because your wrist starts to ache and your hand starts to buzz. But in a self-defense situation, when your adrenaline's pumping, you won't feel it. You might feel it afterwards, but in the moment, you're not going to feel it.
Not at all.
And they're nice because they're small. Even the steel ones are relatively light, comparatively speaking, and a lot of power. 5-6 rounds of 357 is a lot of power to have. But a lot of people don't like that limited amount, only having 5 or 6 rounds. Not speaking of the speed loaders. I'm okay with it. There are situations where, I'll carry something with more capacity depending on where I'm going. But for day-to-day self-defense, if you look at the crime statistics, most interactions will be, it's like, within 3 feet, less than 3 rounds and 3 seconds long, something like that. So it's more than enough to handle a self-defense situation. under normal circumstances. There are times where you might need more, but I feel perfectly fine with this setup. And the other nice thing, another pro, is the simplicity of a revolver. G-Webs has a hammerless. I prefer having the hammer. I don't pocket carry it, so I don't have to worry about it snagging. I mean, I guess it could still snag on my shirt, but I carry outside the waistband. So G-Webs, are there anything concerns or your experience with carrying a revolver? How do you carry it, and is there anything that you learned when you were carrying it that you didn't think of before you started carrying it?
I put it in my pocket, in that pocket holster, and I learned that people put way too much effort into stuff because a lot of people are new to it or whatever. So, it's like a fire extinguisher or something. You can put a lot of effort into it, or you could just put one in your car and have it there. I guess if you used it all the time, it'd be a little bit different, but most of us aren't using it all the time. So having 7 shots or 5 shots, I guess, of 357 is enough to get through things, and it's enough to stop things. So the theoretical debate of having enough capacity is valid, but for normal people doing regular stuff, it's not statistically right. So it's not necessarily statistically there. So when I do stuff where the numbers would imply I'm going to do things that might bring more risk, then I bring something else. But if I'm not, then 5 rounds of 357 is the, like all that I think is necessary for the circumstance, like the majority of stuff I might encounter. So by being able to put it in my pocket and effectively not worry about it, and I can take it out and shoot 5 rounds of defensive ammo without even thinking about it, unlike somebody who's carrying around, more 10 rounds plus of expensive ammo. They're hardly ever shooting it. They'll act like they do, but they never hardly drop a mag. And even if they do, or when they do, I question only a decent student is really going to get effect out of 10 rounds. You're going to get effect out of the first couple of rounds. So anyway, I like the revolver because you can empty it and you can get accustomed to pulling it out of your pocket and shooting it. I've done it at 2 different, 3 different, maybe 5 different missile silos. Like, just as an example, like you can just pull it out of your pocket and shoot it in some places in the world. And then you get your experience and your the different conditions or whatever. So I like everything about a revolver. I can just shoot it and put it back in my pocket and go about my business, and then later on police my brass, on my own time. I don't know. I just like the revolver. So it's really easy.
Do you carry speed loaders or anything, or do you just go with their?
No, not if I'm carrying not for a revolver. I mean, you can, but if I think I'm going to need speed loaders, I'm carrying a real gun, a bigger gun with the magazine.
Here's one that Baron was showing.
You said you'd prefer one that had a hammer?
Yeah,
this is another option.
Shielded hammer.
Kind of ugly, but who the hell cares?
Yeah, that's another thing with
ugly.
me.
Can't do nothing about they're ugly, but they work.
Yep.
I don't buy ugly guns. And I know there are great guns which are not attractive, but I just don't buy ugly guns. I would not buy that.
Yeah, this one looks like it's about 80% finished.
Fair and funny. Good one, Baron. Yeah, it is. They are uggo, but that compromise, to looks does have, if you're doing like a front pocket carry like that, not having that hammer, not having any other obstructions and whatnot, just quick, smooth, in and out, no hesitations. no interruptions.
And it's easy to cuck the hammer on that, for me, anyway.
Yeah, I really want a 638. It's on my list.
I don't know if they still make this, but
Yeah,
they
they do.
used to make
Oh,
this style in 357 mag. I don't know if
I
they still
haven't
do.
seen one. I haven't seen one.
And if people are wondering the size, there's it next to other guns.
Yeah, I don't carry wheel guns. The only one I could really carry is my Model 10, and that's too old and it's got too many rounds. I want to try and preserve it.
So here's one Woods put in the Discord. His
SP 101.
yeah, I think that's one he's had for a long time.
And at nearly any opportunity, because I've been around Woods for a couple of years now, he sings the praises of that firearm. There's something to be said for the longevity in your hands, for sure.
Yeah, and with I think I said it earlier, with the revolver, you just can't beat that simplicity. There's it's not as many moving parts as with a semi-auto. As long as it's in time, it'll go bang and shoot out the front. If it's not in time, it'll still go bang, but it just won't shoot out the front. It'll shoot out the sides.
A revolver is not going to go out of time in normal circumstances, though.
Yeah,
So, like, fight or getting dropped, like you have to shoot it a lot to get it out of time. For the most part, a modern one at least.
The only ones I really hear people say, ask about the timing on are, real old revolvers.
Right, like they had softer metal, or they just had time to break or whatever. But that's the other thing about a revolver, especially a hammerless revolver, is it's the closest thing to always going to work. Like a semi-auto, they look great on the range and they work great, and theoretically on numbers and everything, they're great. Until you actually have to wrestle and be fighting with somebody with your hands on the other person, and then you don't, slides don't operate, and then those guns are ineffective. Where snub revolvers are built like that from people who got into actual altercations and had to use them to get people off of you. It's not die. It's a reason cops carried them for a long, long time.
Shafty, I'm not going to let you go quietly into the night. Let you say some goodbyes and plug something. Plug your channel. Baron, can you call up a link for his channel?
Oh boy,
Sure.
let's try to sneak off. I'm exhausted. I'm sitting here trying not to fall asleep, but thanks for the invite. I have a YouTube channel. It's got some stuff on it. You can watch it or you can not. I might be bothered to make a new video soon. I don't know. But thanks again for the invite. I'd love to stick around, but I'm going to fall asleep on you, and I'm not going to be snoring on your chat.
Oh, no problem. I appreciate you coming in. I know you've been out and about today.
Yeah. You guys take it easy. I'll catch it tomorrow.
Adios.
Easy.
Yeah, see ya.
Speaking about revolvers going out of time, I actually had a brand new Smith & Wesson that would not lock up. I had to send it back to them, and they fixed everything, sent it right back.
What model was that, Baron?
It was a Smith & Wesson Bodyguard.
Okay.
Their polymer frame one. I don't even know if they still make it.
Woods is saying 29. He's carried that 29 years.
That's too many years.
Yeah, and he took it out of his pocket to take the picture.
So you'd pull the trigger, and it would rotate the cylinder, but it wouldn't rotate enough to lock it up. And you could spin the cylinder until it either locked up on the round it was supposed to be on or the one previous.
That's a feature. Gives you an option.
You didn't have to pay extra for that even.
No.
Yeah, I have a couple of revolvers, top break, Ivor Johnson stuff from the turn of the previous century, where Yeah, I'm not even going to go there, nor am I going to, because of their value. Take them to somebody to have them evaluated. They're mostly just placeholders, because I didn't think that I didn't think that I'd be running across some of them ever again. Uh, the purpose was not to use them for their original purpose, but more just to collect and catalog, I guess.
Um, and if we go up to a larger, like a K frame, you get a little more weight. Which helps with the recoil. The 65 is pretty easy to shoot, I think. It's better with the rubber grips than with the wood grips. So you get a little more control with the rubber grips that came on it, but they don't look as nice as the wood grips.
Well, rubber grips basically wreak havoc in your pants, and they don't necessarily make a bigger thing to grab out of your pocket. Like you're making a fist around a bunch of rubber instead of that little bit of wood. So it's more stuff to grab out of your pocket.
I could see that, it being grabby in your pocket lining.
Yeah, the rubber grips are okay, but depending on what kind of pants you're wearing, like with the fancy tuxedo pants, they like make my tuxedo hang funny.
And I've never shot like the 9mm ones. I've only shot 357 or 38 special. Yeah. And I think the only 44 mag I've ever shot was mine. The Super Blackhawk, which it's a 7-inch barrel, so it's not one I would carry.
So if you go to the range, you don't like walk around and look at other people's guns and then go, and then they go, "You want to shoot it?" And you go, "Yeah."
I don't. I usually go, I'll see who's there, say hi, and then I prefer to be up against the wall, so there's only people on one side of me, and then plus there's a little gap between the divider on the sides and the wall, which collects brass, so I'll reach back there and drag out free brass.
Got to be careful if somebody's shooting a 45 ACP. Those are known to bring walls down, so you're in a big dangerous place.
So I guess we'll move on to semi-autos. So I'll show this one.
Are we even able to legally own semi-automatics anymore? Is that something we should own?
We still are. So that's my PPK, which I'll if I'm running around, if I'm going out and about, and I carry this, it's because of where I'm going, and I need to be able to store it because I can't take it anywhere.
Party, like at a cocktail party or something.
Well, no, just places in Washington you're not allowed to carry. So I'll have to take it off. So I'll just pocket carry it. If I'm mowing, I'll also carry it if I'm working in the yard because it's nice and small. But then I'll go inside the waistband if I carry it while I'm working outside. And it's 8 rounds. So there's not a lot of capacity, and it's 380, so not a whole lot of power. But it'll stop somebody. I have no problem with that, and I don't carry with semi-autos. I don't carry extra magazines.
Interesting.
I guess you're free to do that. That gun looks so sharp to me. Just looking at it reminds me of how it is to shoot those. So you've ever thought about taking a file to it or some sort of a heat gun or something?
No.
Put it down a little bit.
I had different grips on it. I had some carbon fiber grips, which I thought looked gorgeous, but I need to sand them down because they interfere with the internals a little bit. They're rubbing on something, and when I took them off, I put them away and just kind of forgot about them. But yeah, I do get slide bite from it because I've got kind of chunky hands. And again, that's, if I need to use it in self-defense, I won't ever feel the slide bite, or it'll probably be a day before I even realize I had slide bite.
So what's the capacity on that? 7?
That one I think is 8+1. I think that's because I think the standard magazines, the smaller magazines, we'll say, are 7+1 or 7, and I think this one's an 8. The one with the pinky extension.
I'm gonna wait until they make it in 380 super carry, and then it'll be 9+1.
And the PPKs are really accurate, at least for me. I'll shoot the same groups at 10 yards as I do at 30 yards. Or no, not that far. Whatever the short distance and the long distance at the range I go to.
So does that have a safety?
Yeah, on the other side.
Yeah.
Like, is it like a Beretta 92? Is it like on the slide? Or is it on the frame?
I don't remember on that one. I think it's
Hang on,
underneath the grip, I think, right?
I
I don't think they're on the slide on this one.
So it's on the slide, and it's a safety decocker. Decocker. Yeah. It's a safety and a decocker. Let me. I do it that way. So I go. There you go. It's right there.
So very 92 like.
And this has been cleared and safety checked, so as far as anybody knows, it's safe.
So that's a mag release in front and on the grip, or that's just a grip screw on the grip?
That's grip screw. It's just an indent for the grip screw. Oh, it's 7+1. Sorry, not 8. So I guess
you need to go to 380 super carry.
So I was right on both.
I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm a sham.
You want me to review that gun for you?
Just so everybody knows, it is now loaded. So be careful.
I'll watch what I say. I'm right next to you.
But I love this little gun. And let me show. Woods posted another picture, little LCP, in the Discord. Share, and then share, and then share. There we go. It's a little LCP. So for the small guns, you've got concealability. They're light, easy to carry, but you don't have the capacity. The Micro 9s have changed that a little bit where you get, better capacity. But they're still small guns with more recoil than a little larger gun. And I've never shot an LCP or any of the Micro 9s. So I'm just going off of what I've heard other people say.
So when you say Micro 9s, do you mean the Kimber Micro 9 or Micro 9mm?
Not Micro 9mm.
Okay.
Below subcompact.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't shot.
So that's your
Uh,
gun, like 20 years later, where they melted everything down, removed everything that didn't need to be there, made parts in plastic that didn't need to be metal anymore, and then removed all the uh, mechanical levers and stuff to where it doesn't shoot until you pull that deliberately long trigger pull, and then it shoots 100% of the time. So you can get more hand on it and less issue with any of the ergonomic stuff they had from them old ones. Back in the day, I think they used to sit down and draw a gun based on what it looked like, and then now they make them based on customer feedback.
so Woods, what's the capacity on that LCP?
6 and 1.
Yeah, have one, but have never carried it. Now,
What?
someone was
Really?
referring. Someone earlier in the chat was talking about ankle guns, and to me, that's like that weight and that size is far closer to an ankle gun.
That's weird. So ankle guns don't mean lightweight. They just mean you're sitting down. I'd put a
Well, they do. They
on your
have for me. Anytime I've tried to carry anything, in an ankle holster, and albeit these have been in, limited, not like high quality read. I've had difficulty with it. I just could not reduce my stride or the way I planted my heel. Something was making them want to dislodge, and it just felt way too risky. Yeah, even wearing jeans that tapered down, it would give it some extra the likelihood that it would be held in closer. I just couldn't be confident about it, but I might have been doing it wrong. No one showed me how, kind of thing.
This was sent in by Moo. I wasn't checking the email, so I missed it when we were talking revolvers. And I think
I'm a big fan of those strips over speed loaders. Speed loaders, you can have to empty it all, and then you can only put in the whole thing. So it's all or nothing. With those strips, you can you can do all kinds of options, multiple options. Plus the strips are flatter, and there's no moving parts. They're just strong urethane rubber or whatever they are.
I don't know. In the black, that looks better than the chrome one. Maybe because there's less of a hump there. I don't know.
Well, it's a different gun.
Yeah.
See, there's a scallop or whatever. There's like a different shape to it and stuff. Big ass Hillary hole. That's so that if something's going on, she can just reach over and turn your gun off.
Yeah, I thought about buying one of those deletes that put a little, it's not really a pin, but it's like what would you call it? A cover for that disables it. But it never worried me enough to spend money on it.
But the Hillary hole takes a damn sexy frame and uggos it. Just a boom right there. Eyesore, just grossness. Oh,
and
what are those?
This is the one you sent in, DJ.
Yeah, I was being facetious. Yeah, so Rossi 720s. No, they are not 44 mag. They are 44 special. And the one on the bottom there is the most recent revolver edition that to my firearms, and that's a Taurus. That's the first hammerless that I can even considered, and because it was really reasonable price, went ahead. It's in 38.
It's cheaper when you don't have to buy the hammer.
Weight savings as well.
Wesley Foster was driving through. He'll just says he'll check it out later.
So is that a bobbed hammer or is it actually shrouded? I can't tell.
It's not a shroud. It's gone. And that was something I was going to bring up earlier about the shrouding thing. I had what was it? An Ivor? No. can't remember it was a Target Bulldog in 44 Special as well, and it came with a shroud on it, but it was a Colt hammer shroud, and had the ramping Colt on the side of it kind of thing. I had never seen one like that was an aftermarket piece. I'd seen others where they were included, but their attachment points were different, and so that was kind of interesting.
And
You know how people are like, oh, I like red triggers, or people are like, oh, I like to stipple my Glocks, or people are like, oh, I like to get gold barrels because of the blah blah blah, right? Like, do you think that's ever been anything ever since the first gun, and then the second gun, and then the third gun, and then people were like, my gun's not the same as I don't want my gun to be the same as those three people. Like, guns have always been ripe for messing with it. You know, it's such a personal thing. You're carrying it around all the time, and everybody's got that interest in making it different than everybody else's. Plus, performance-wise, people have been messing with them, I'll bet you, since the first one. Probably the first one, somebody made it, gave it to somebody, and they're like, oh, this is awesome. Except I think I'm going to file this off.
well, that or even just the scroll work that you see on the old guns, and
Yeah. And the just putting the tack in there,
yeah.
mark for each coyote or whatever they did.
So was this yours, DJ?
Yeah, indeed it is. And I kind of brain farted on that 44 Bulldog. It's a Charter Arms. I had Ivor Johnson on my brain because that is also an Ivor. That is in 22. And that is what it's obvious with that mimics. I've had two of them. Only one of them will consistently cycle rounds, though. It's not a very well designed piece. But one of the things I do like about, we haven't talked about, well, one of the features that I like about this one, I should have said, is how the frame is going plumb. And it is the most consistently plumb frame on any firearm that I have with that kind of patina. And I really, really like that.
So I kind of lost where I was now. Oops. I can stop sharing. I don't need to share my email.
I've written down everybody's email addresses. You're all going to get spams.
Oh. So I don't have it.
So when was the last time you pulled your carry gun and shot it from where its natural living place is, not under stress like that, but when's the last time you actually didn't take it out, set it on the counter, fiddle with it, then shoot it, and then put it back in your pocket and go, yeah, I can shoot it?
Does dry fire
drawing
count?
from the holster?
I don't think dry fire counts because dry fire is masturbation. A lot of people like it because people sell it to you, but if dry fire worked, then we wouldn't shoot bullets in the Army. I'm just saying.
My range does not allow drawing from the holster, unfortunately.
Well, but you can go out in the middle of nowhere. You live in a state where you got places. That's why I guess I'm wondering if anybody's got the opportunity to find yourself oh, this is your property, and do you mind if I shoot a couple of rounds? And then go ahead. Just so you feel comfortable doing it. You know what I mean? Just the experience of pulling out of your pocket. Well, for me, it's pulling out of my pocket, but drawing it, moving around, doing something like the stuff that you can't do to range. But that's why I'm asking, because people don't necessarily take the opportunity or make the opportunity to do that.
I haven't, not at the range or out in the wild. I've done it with dry firing, either standing.
You go through the motions at least, then you at least know oh, my hammer could catch. I better chalk up on it, and then whatever to make to deal with it.
I'll do it.
I mean, I get the masturbation, the repetition, the masturbation thing that you like that, G. But it's the confidence building that brings me to dry fire, not just going point of aim kind of thing, but actually just the drilling. And besides,
so
it's kind of enjoyable.
You strings off your guitar and you just air guitared into a mirror all the time.
Yep,
that's equivalent of practicing.
It is, and actually, I can do a live share example of it. Kind of walk straight that way. Let me go cam off. This is this is a Washburn
part of
this is a Washburn guitar neck that I do rather than carrying a travel sized guitar. I can just carry a neck, and I get to do all my fretting and my practice that way. Same principle.
No, not the same principle. I said air guitar into a mirror, and that's going to make you a better guitar player. You took a specific example of an experienced guitar player practicing with a tool. I'm saying dry
Okay.
firing from someone who doesn't shoot very often is just going through exercises. But if you've never been coached and you've never had anybody, you don't take video of yourself and send that to somebody who knows what they're doing and have experience that you actually pay attention to, then that's just doing the same thing over and over again. Yeah, you get really good at doing the same thing over and over again, but is it right or wrong? Like, question mark? How do you know?
I understand the distinction.
Yeah, at the range, I'll go because we're not allowed to go from your holster.
Yep.
So I'll go from the chest. So I'll have it here, instead of coming up, out, I'll just start from the chest and then out.
Are you allowed to set it on the ground, like set it on the counter and then pick it up and shoot?
Don't believe so. But as I said, like with dry firing, I'll do it standing and I'll do it sitting. So you get used to drawing from a seated position.
Now, that is a damn fine idea. I have not done that. And
What,
should.
from a seated?
Yes, sir. How am I going to expect to be able to take out Greedo with any kind of, lightning precision?
Yeah, what did Han Solo have? A drop leg holster, right?
Yeah. Plus, he shot it through the holster. He was still in his holster.
Apparently, I forgot to call up the CZ picture, so I'm sending it to myself here real quick. And hopefully it gets to me real quick. So yeah, and if you go up in size to like a compact, you get more capacity, a little more weight to help with recoil. For those, I used to carry H&K P30, which has kind of been relegated to bedside gun now, since I started carrying the CZ. There we go. There's the compact. The compact is nice. It's really easy to carry. Still, it's all metal, all steel, so it's still a little heavy. But again, I don't mind the extra weight. And this one is 9mm. It's, I think, 15 or 17, but I think it's 15. Which should be more than enough to handle, 90% of any situation that you're in, if not 95.
Hundred percent of every situation I've been in, right?
Yeah. The P30 is a 40, which I like the 40. I'm a 40 fan. And that one is, how many rounds is that one? I forget. I don't know anything about guns. I don't know what I'm doing here. I think it's 15. The 9mm is 15. Oh, it might be 12 on the 40. Thirteen. There we go. Um,
What's it in 30 super carry?
I don't know. It's like going metric. You just add a couple. But, and there are people who will, that say, go with, I think, it was Clint Smith that said, or probably other people, 2 is 1 and 1 is none. So they carry extra mags. And some people actually carry backup gun or 2 backup guns. So if you have a failure, you've got a spare.
Have you ever had the base plate rip off the bottom of a mag and all your rounds shoot out?
I haven't.
That's bad. It's not a good day.
The Nighthawk Medic talked about that. He added mag extension to one of his Glocks, and that happened to him, where he's started firing and then they all fell out the bottom.
I had it happen with a Glock 17. So yeah, that happens. Luckily, I was at the range, but
that's why you need to carry a nail and a rock so you can fire those rounds off the ground.
Slingshot.
So DJ, before you take off, go ahead and plug away.
Yeah, I need everybody to stay tuned because it's not on lock. But Tuesday and Thursday evenings on the Guns and Barbecue channel, there is the Almost Nightly Firearms Expo, and on Wednesday afternoons, same program, different time, different day. So check those out. These fine gentlemen have channels. Check those out as well. And until we see each other again, be safe, have fun, carry your guns, and rock.
Thanks for jumping in, DJ.
Anytime, man. Glad to be here.
Adios.
What did he say? Barbecue's doing a show again?
I don't know. I hadn't heard if he was firing back up or not yet. To answer Two Light Moo, he's asking where is Nighthawk Medic. I see him now and again on Instagram, but I don't see him on YouTube. So I haven't really heard from him.
We had him on for, wasn't it the shotgun episode?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, I miss him. Miss talking to him. So if you're out there, Nighthawk, and you hear this, sometimes stop by, say hi. Last I had heard, he's working on figuring out how he wants to format his chat. Mantis Mike, good evening. Good morning. Whichever applies. Then, so what else about the semi-autos?
I would always carry a spare mag just because of the situation we just described. I am... What?
Yeah, because it's a semi-auto and that's part of the gun. Like, it's an easy thing to carry that does go bad.
Yep. And like, I'm not worried about a revolver, like the cylinder coming detached and all my rounds falling out. With a semi-auto, that's an actual thing that can happen. Like, you're going to lose every round but the one in the tube, if that comes off.
Yeah, and one thing with the semi-autos is try them out, because the ergonomics can change how it feels, can change how the recoil impulse.
Yep.
This CZ75 compact is, kind of heavy for compact. It's all steel, and it's kind of snappy. I was surprised at how snappy it is. But if you compare it to like the car, and I cannot remember which one my buddy has, if it's the CM9, CT9, one of the compact 9s, there's hardly any recoil to it. For how small and light that gun is, I was shocked at how smooth and nice it was to shoot.
Interesting.
And like the is it 917, the little single action SIG 9,
I don't know.
because there's a 380 version and there's a 9 version. It's a 9 something. I hate that little gun.
The one that looks like a 1911?
Yeah,
Is it the 938?
that might be it. It's really snappy. For me, it's uncomfortable to shoot.
Yeah, I'd always recommend the Kimber Micro 9 over that one. But a lot of people don't like Kimber, so.
I don't know, with the Micro 9, there's lots of different flavors of 9 in the Micro 9 line. Lots of cool looking guns. I would like to shoot one just to try one.
They're great shooters. I really miss having a gun that small. I don't have one like that anymore. I just got like the J frame.
And if you go up to full size, like, duty weapon size, you get usually more capacity. There's more weight, so better recoil management and longer sight radius. But it's a larger gun to have to deal with.
They're
I
handguns.
guess.
They're only larger than tiny micro guns that have micro in the names and micro to describe them.
Yeah, and each company will define their full size and compact differently. There's like the P30 compact, to me, is basically a full size gun. It's just the full size P30 is like a 4-inch barrel instead of a 3.8-inch barrel. So I think my G20 is the only, well, I guess would be considered full size, maybe. I don't know if Glock goes that way, because there's the long slide Glocks, which are ridiculous looking.
I think you just go by the frame, right? Not the slide.
I don't
On
know.
what?
Whether something's full size or not, I'd go by the grip. The grip. I
Yeah,
don't know.
that way I would say so, because then the slide is more like a determination if it's target or not.
Yeah.
You could have a
Like-
full size compact with like a small grip or a small slide on it or something, but typically you got your compacts mean a smaller capacity and smaller handle.
Like if you had a J frame with a 10-inch barrel, that's not a full size gun. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if there's a overall difference between the P30 full size and the P30 compact.
Is
I know
there a capacity difference?
I don't remember.
That'd give it away.
Yeah. Is the subcompact wasn't bad. I haven't shot one. I just saw one at the gun shop. Looked at one. But I'm just trying to see if I can look real quick. Which my internet's being slow today, so. So the P30L. I don't know what all that. not what I want. Yeah, I know this is riveting for everybody to watch while I'm. It looks like it's the same between the long slide and the compact.
Okay.
But again, it may vary from manufacturer to manufacturer.
So is that CZ made in the U.S.?
They don't make guns here, do they?
It says Kansas City, Kansas.
Well, yeah, but that's just their import.
Gotcha.
At least I'm assuming.
I think some of them are made in the U.S. and some are from Czechoslovakia. I think mine is Czechoslovakian. I'd have to. It's upstairs, so I can't look at it.
Do they make a CZ380?
I don't know if they have a modern one. I think they have older ones.
Well, if there's not a modern 380, then there's probably not a factory here, because they usually only bother making a factory here if they want to bring in guns that are too difficult to import. But if they're making 9mm, they can just import them. They don't have to make a new factory here.
Gotcha.
But that's like, that's not every company. That's just what the tendencies are of companies. You know what I mean? Like, they can still do what they want, I guess.
Yeah, the 83 and I think the 82 or 380s.
I just don't remember ever hearing anybody go, "Oh, I have a U.S. made CZ," like a USA made Glock or USA made SIG. Like, people talk about that. I would have, just heard it or whatever. I don't remember ever hearing about U.S. made CZ.
Yeah, I wonder if that'll start happening now that they own Colt. Right? You think they're going to start doing domestic CZs
if they
over here?
own that, like when they bought the name, if that means they own property, that might be a reason to buy it.
Yep.
Because then they'd own stuff here. But they may just who knows what the Colt name means the rest of the world, Like, what's the licensing there? Has Colt ever done that? Like, we never really listen. They don't ever brag about their international stuff, and nobody ever really asks about international stuff. But there's a lot of places in the world that definitely have guns. So
looks like the CZP-10 is made in Kansas.
Oh, no kidding.
Is that a 22? Or I'm thinking of a SIG P10.
No, it's polymer. I think it's polymer.
Yeah. Striker fired 9mm, right?
Yeah.
I bet you that's what happened to all them cows. Those 9mm guns being made in Kansas. A bunch of cows die. Coincidence?
So that brings us to striker fire, which, of course, I don't know if I have a picture of my striker fire on my computer. I should. So bear with me just a second.
I do if you need one.
There it is. I found it. Do that, and that's my G20. That's the only striker fire I have. My Glock, and I bought it because I wanted a gun to gussy up. So I went with the red accents. There, let me zoom in a little bit. And it's got like 3 different color reds because I couldn't get all the parts from the same line. So I had to get from different brands. And if you tweak the colors or the lighting, you can make them kind of look the same. So nobody notices that they're different color. You can see the mag release is different than the slide release and the mag plate. And I think the pins are a different color too.
It's funny, even the mag plates look different because of the lighting.
Those ones are the same.
Yep.
And that was the first, my first time ever trying to take off Glock mag plates, and that was a bitch. And now I know how to do it, but I didn't realize that they had 2 little nubs you have to get it over, and I ended up just
Not so
taking
much over, you squish them.
Yeah, I didn't know that, and I didn't look up the instructions, so I just took a screwdriver and I forced the old plates off.
Hmm.
So Striker Fired, one of the bonuses of Striker Fired is every trigger pull is the same. For me, the minus is there's no hammer. I like having the hammer. And, I know there's, a million people that carry them every day with no problem. But for me, it's just not, I'm just not comfortable without having the hammer.
I think Walther does have a striker fired that is double action.
I think there are a couple you can get. Aren't the car? Isn't car double action? At least some of them.
No idea. Could be.
And the G20, a lot of people will complain about the grip angle and whatnot. I like it. For me, it's it's an accurate gun, and it might just be I'm kind of a mediocre shot, so I can shoot any gun mediocre, and I don't have a problem with it. And with polymer, another complaint I hear is like frame flex, but I don't feel the frame flex at all when I'm shooting, so it doesn't bother me. With Striker Fired, basically it's kind of half cocked all the time. And when you pull the trigger, the pin is pulled back until it slips off and then fires. Kind of like pulling back a slingshot. Pew.
And there are...
So that instead of the first shot being very long and then each subsequent shot being hair triggers, like you said originally, consistent. That same pressure, the release pressure, release pressure, release every single time consistently.
Yeah, and there's kind of an old timer that I sub to on YouTube that he doesn't like Striker Fired because they don't have safeties. There probably are some.
Lie. That's a lie. So that's just a way of creating a false narrative. But there's 3 safeties in a Glock. There's not a Striker Fire gun made in production that doesn't have a safety in it. It's not possible to make in the United States.
Yeah, the fire. They have firing pin safety. The dongle safety thing to me is safety in name only.
Well, then you're not paying attention because it's a drop safety.
Yep.
Well, yeah, that's the firing pin safety is what I consider.
You can operate a gun by pulling its trigger, and that means that a piece of metal that's not attached to the rest of the gun can, equal Newton's laws. So when things fall or things can fit in there, that's what it was created for. But whatever. If people need a manual safety, you're not going to find that in a Striker Fire, just like you're not going to find a stick shift in an automatic vehicle.
Yeah, and Two Live Moose saying you can get them with external safety, thumb safeties.
Didn't the Glock they put through the new service pistol trial have a safety? The one they didn't get the contract on?
I'm not sure. They have made them before, but I don't remember on that one.
Picture sent in by Two Live Moo.
From what I understand, Glock never tried real hard to put in any government contracts like that because you have to let go of your patent to give it to the United States government. And they're not really interested in doing that. Like, okay, you could Glock won the patent. Now Colt, you make them because you're the lowest bidder. That's how government contracts work.
So they probably wanted the publicity of going in.
Maybe just for the credibility and so that they don't look like they're not doing nothing for all the regular people that aren't paying attention to the nuance and stuff. But from what I understand, like companies aren't necessarily interested in giving away their product, especially a product that makes them money. Now, if you make up a product and give it to them and they take it, great. You know what I mean? Like, that's fine. I never, now I'll make money because I made a new product exists. But when you got a line that's selling and it works and it's legit, why would you want to give it to the U.S. government to own?
I don't know, Baron. Do you ever carry the Striker Fire?
Sometimes, not often, but I do have a Glock clone. It's a Glock 19 clone.
Yeah. Yeah, I might, someday when I get more familiar, more comfortable with Striker Fire. Again, this isn't just, this isn't intended to say this is better than this. This is just pluses, minuses of each ones as we see them.
Think of it this way. Do you trust a bolt action?
Yes.
That is striker fired.
Yeah. Well, the one difference is I don't put my bolt action in my pants.
Yeah. Good point. What if there's anyone that carries one of those Remington 700 pistols? Appendix? Yeah, I don't have anything against striker fired. Yeah. I just don't carry it that often.
Yeah, I have absolutely no apprehension. I carry strike fire all the time whenever I'm carrying a regular pistol or whatever, Glock. So, I don't know. I understand, I guess. Everybody has to get through that, but it's just like driving an automatic when you started off with a stick shift. Oh, how can this car work if I'm not in control of the gears? And then after a while, you don't even think about it anymore. Like, oh, I guess you can be in control of the gears if you really want to waste part of your brain power in your other arm.
Yeah, and I'm not trashing striker fire. Like I said, I have my Glock, and it's probably my second favorite gun to shoot at the range. I just need to get comfortable with carrying the striker fired, I guess.
If I had a Glock instead of a clone, I would trust it more. But I would need to buy a Glock.
After going to different experiences where you actually draw and shoot, then you figure out that all the stuff that you have 100% focus on and 100% attention on and all the time in the world don't operate the same when you don't have all the time in the world and it has to be done quickly. And things that get done quickly never happen just standing there. You're falling over, you're on the ground, you're backwards, you're running backwards, you just hit a wall, something's in your way, there's literally somebody with their hands on you. Things that once you experience all that, you want your tool to just work. So, you know what I mean? Like, you want it to just work. And if you can get past the theoretical conversations that people have who've never done anything or never had any kind of experiences, then get past all that and get to listen to those conversations with people like cops or whoever that are doing stuff constantly. I mean, I guess you go talk to criminals that are getting fights, but they're not as successful and they don't really do after actions the same way. So it's a little bit difficult to get that perspective. But when you listen to people that do offer their experience, then it's never like, oh, if only my tool worked better. Or usually when that happens, it's one of the ones I never pay attention to anyway. But, you listen to them and it's much more of a, they don't care what their tool looks like when they're using their tool, if that makes sense. They don't care, they want to make sure their tool works and that's all they care about. And they're almost always just using issue ones. They don't have a choice. And then anyway, so that's what I'm guessing. I'm getting at is that once you remove all the frills and stuff, when you need to use it, it just has to be a tool that works. Period.
Yeah.
Without any extra stuff on it. It's just all that other stuff just gets in the way or breaks. Somebody who's making a thing that's fancy or different color or whatever, how often do they have a government contract to make sure their stuff is free of engineering flaws? Or are they buying the cheapest metal they can because they know almost everybody's using it ornamentally? So it's one of those things, 25-cent pin breaks, the whole gun is useless.
Wesley Foster was asking, what would you carry when sitting behind the steering wheel and possibly have to shoot through a windshield? I was thinking Glock 26R and possibly current version of the P320 Air Force M18. I'm probably not going to shoot through the windshield. I'm probably just going to lean over on the seat and floor it. I'm looking to run over anything that's in front of me. I might shoot out the side windows, but if it's in front of me, I'm just either flooring it to go forward or flooring it to go backwards. And if I thought I had to, it's just whatever I'm carrying. That's,
Whenever I had to replace my windshield in the truck, we just took it out to the desert and shot the shit out of it from sitting in there. So first off, you don't want to do that. Everything in there doesn't like having concussion of a gun going off. So it's gross inside of a vehicle as soon as you start shooting a gun. Everything goes through the windshield, and pretty much, in our experience, everything hits what you're shooting at. All this deflection and such and such and such and such is there. You can make it do that, or eventually it'll do that. But for the most part, stuff's getting through. I carry a 357 because there's not just always glass in the way, but anything that has more than one round, you've just made a hole. So worst case scenario is your first round didn't do what it's supposed to do, and then you got a port to do the rest of your business through. If you can keep your head in the game for all that, it's pretty gross immediately inside a vehicle as soon as you pull the first shot. So it's chaos. You're breathing everything gross that's ever been in any part of your car, and everybody in your car is pissed. There's nothing about having a gunshot inside of a car that's at all you're not going to deal with it. You're going to go from knowing it's about to happen and everything, like being prepared, it goes from 0 to stress level 1,000. So in real life, having to pull it and use it, get out of there. Try to do everything else besides that. It's nothing like a movie where you just shoot and nothing happens and it's clear, and so where you immediately can't see nothing and ruin your car.
Yeah, he brought up suicide vest, which that's not really a thing in the U.S. So, and you wouldn't know it was a suicide vest until it blew up.
Yeah, I'd probably want a rifle if I got someone with a suicide vest.
Oh, that brings up. Let me call up Sergeant Joe Smith sent in a picture earlier. Where'd it go? There we go. What he carries in his car, which is kind of akin to what you're talking about having. He has AR pistol he keeps in his car. And how many rounds did I say when I counted it up?
160? That can't be right.
No, it's 120 if it's 260s.
No, yeah, it's
because he had more than that in the car.
Yeah, right? So more than 200 rounds, I think.
I don't like that grip. I don't like that grip, but otherwise it's pretty good. I would get a sling or something.
And he said that's what he keeps in his BMW.
Yeah, I think that's one of the best things about AR pistols is we're making them into truck guns or whatever.
Yep.
You need irons on there though.
So let me close that out, and I can close that out. Oop. And I can stop sharing. There we go. Uh, yeah. So you had brought up EDC wallets, keys, knives, pens, etc.
Oh yeah, because DJ was saying, "What's your EDC revolver or something?" And I was like, "I'm just not used to that." Back in my day, EDC meant wallet and stuff you carry around your pockets, and CCW was guns. Because back in my day, there was no CCW, right? That's new.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw on the um, I forget the name of the YouTube, the Gentleman's Gazette. They do kind of older fashion, and that's I saw in there they had their EDC, but they were just talking about wallet keys, you know, pocket litter, basically. Um,
Yeah, I mean knives are EDC, but that's about the closest thing to any kind of a weapon or whatever. Usually, for people that are talking back in the day, like an EDC, every once in a
yeah,
while you see a gun in there, but rarely.
I think it's kind of in the gun tuber realm. It's kind of come to be um, include guns.
Right. Well, now it's your gun that you carry every day, as opposed to the stuff that you're carrying every day. But yeah, and there's a thing there too. Like I don't understand people that carry a different gun every day. I mean, it's your right or whatever. Masada Yub does it, so there are people that are respected that do it. I don't understand it though. I've done things like gone to classes and gone to events, and then gone if for some reason like, oh, I'm going to change my gun out, just because I don't know, for whatever reason I thought it was a brilliant idea, and then gone, what the hell did I do that for? Like, I just shot half of this match with this gun and then I switched guns like an idiot. Like, nah, I'm just dealing with another thing, right? So those are my own stepping in it. And then, nobody forced me to, nobody suggested it. I just thought it was a great idea and did it, and then learned, oh, wait a minute, that wasn't a good idea. It was actually pretty stupid. So I've just never been interested in like going into my safe and just picking up any gun and carrying it around. For one, I don't have that many and that are good. But two, like, I don't like the idea of having to think about stuff. Like I said, I don't like to say like go into training, because some people have glitches about training, but go do something where you have to experience um, austere conditions, right? Something different than you're used to. And as soon as you have to deal with something else, you start to realize that every handicap you give yourself, making yourself think about something just frivolously, like carrying a different gun every day, it just seems like extra brain power that you don't need to waste time on. So if you're going to carry one gun, train with one gun, carry around one gun, it's just boom. I only have to worry about that one thing. So for me, it was I carry around the gun, and then whenever I make the decision to change it, like it changes. So I do carry more than one. I carry the revolver and the Glock, but I don't just reach into my safe and just decide I'm going to carry this gun today, this gun tomorrow, that gun, because I feel like it on a different day.
I'll
It's a
change.
different philosophy, I guess.
What I'm doing will determine what I'm carrying, and it'll basically be one of three. Normally one of two. Like I said, there's if I carry the PPK, it's because I'm going somewhere. I have to take it off, so I'll pocket carry it. And just other than that, normal out and about, I've been carrying the CZ. If I'm out in nature, then I'll take the P30 because it's a little more power.
So you're more worried about like a critter?
Yeah, because there are bears and cougars.
Well, I should
within
say
a couple blocks.
More interested in having more power for a critter than a human.
Yeah.
I want equal power for everything, because I figure, everybody's different too, I suppose. I figure a dude by myself, I'm not little, so anybody's going to be messing with me is either looking to fight or looking, you know what I mean? Like it's different than if I was a middle-aged, middle-sized family person with a whole family in tow. Then they're probably robbing me to rob me, right? And I could probably be okay with like, okay, here's my money, leave me and my family alone, and they're going to run off. Like 99% of the time, that's all they're looking to do. when you're by yourself and you're different, then you know, I mean, you're not in that situation, or you're just let me grab some money from these people. Then why do I have to decide what the criminal is interested in doing, right? Like, so I figure in those situations, or in that when you're in a situation where you don't have, when you're not sure what the criminal, or you're not like under some kind of expectation of what the criminal might do, that's where I figure bring all the power, bring all the capacity.
Yeah, I can see that. The main reason I switched to the CZ Compact is just because I put on weight and it's easier to carry than the P30. Otherwise, I'd probably still be carrying the P30 more often. But it's, I'm fine with it being just the bedside gun too. And then if I ever get the pancake holster for the CHP gun, then I'll probably carry that once in a while, just because it's cool.
Yeah, I only change up carry gun for different seasons.
I don't change on the seasons. I other than when it's cold, I might bundle up just a little more, but basically I wear the same clothes no matter what the season is. My jacket will get a little heavier, a thicker jacket, but I wear the same kind of shirts. I carry the same gun.
And depending on where you are in Washington, it can really get cooking.
Yeah.
And
well, when people say changing up for winter, I thought they're also talking, they want to carry something that has more ability to get through the bad guy's coat.
Yep.
Right? Not so much, oh, I can wear a bigger gun because I got more coat to cover it, although that's another part of it, right? But we don't have jacket down here. We have hot, where you wear less clothes, and then we have less hot, where you just wear probably what you guys wear when it's super hot.
So, midsummer, you Speedo
I'm
carry?
just saying, yeah, like nobody's ever wearing a coat down here. The most you're ever going to wear is a windbreaker or something. So there's nothing where you're like, oh, I'm worried about what the bad guy might be wearing. But it's different too. I was kind of alluding to it when I was saying before that if I'm driving out to go shooting, let's say, and I'm driving 30 minutes towards the international border with Mexico, I'm not going to bring the same gun as if I was in Kansas going out to my friend's farm to go shooting. You know what I mean? Like I'm packing up a bear, because if we're sitting there and there's some cartel spotter on a hill, 6 cartel spotters on a hill, tweaked out on meth or fentanyl or whatever they do, looking for border patrol, all pissed for some reason, and then we show up to go shooting and we're downrange checking our targets, that's not a scenario I want to be like, oh, I brought my 38 because it's comfortable in my pants or whatever.
And DJ was kind of asking earlier about types of rounds. I don't know. I think in the PPK is round nose, and then in everything else is well, in the revolvers is also like 357. It's flat nose, but in the 40 and the 9, they're hollow points. And for the PPK, it's partially just to make sure that it feeds well.
That's important.
It will do hollow points okay, but I just trust it better with round nose. Well, just saying spear gold dots.
I'm a big fan of spear gold dots. Always have been. They don't have to win nothing. They win occasionally whenever you're looking at charts, but they're almost always included as a reputable brand, and then they almost always perform mid or higher in the results. So I dig them.
I think my hollow points are, I think they're Minuteman. Are the ones I carry. I
I'm
have
sure Border Patrol carries gold dots too. It's one of the reasons we picked them.
some of the SIG. I'm not sure if I have any of those loaded though. Is there anything else we didn't cover you think we should cover? Or
Yeah.
do we?
So I don't know whenever you said it before, but I didn't want to interrupt whenever you're just talking about other stuff. But one of the things about carrying a pistol is, again, if you've got a different situation where you've got a family or whatever, then are you coordinating with what your wife or your spouse is carrying, or what your kids are carrying, depending on their age? And you could carry if you're all carrying the same mag, size or whatever, all carrying a Glock 9mm mag, for example, then you could easily be carrying 2 extra mags for them, right? Or a
Yeah.
26 on your ankle, 2 mags on your waist, or whatever one you're carrying, and then they can all be doing whatever. Now you got 2 guns to be, or a gun to be handing off, and all those mags to be handing off. That's just one of the things I was going to mention, that when you're, depending on your situation, you've got, what's that word? Like, you can add capacity by all sharing the same platform, and then do the same. Like, if it's the other way around, if everybody's like, one person's carrying a caliber revolver, another person's carrying a caliber something else, and then a third gun that has nothing to do with the other two, that's just the opposite of, like, now you could literally have situations where they all break and nothing can be done about it, or 2 out of 3 2 out of 3 go down, and what can you do?
Yeah, that's it's not a bad thing to think about.
Then you didn't really talk about lights, and when I'm carrying a pistol, then I've got a light on it. People can say whatever they want. Again, when you just decide the scenario and you finish your scenario that you've created, that's great. But in real life, you don't get to pick the scenario when the scenarios happen. You definitely don't get to pick the odds. And one, having a light on there is just amazing. And 2, going to court and being like, yeah, I had a light on there and I saw exactly what I was shooting at. I have a light on there. It's got 500 lumens or whatever. Yeah, I practiced with the light on there. Just gives you more strength, more, just more capability everywhere, all around. And I don't know. Again, they're bigger sometimes, but that's about the only disadvantage.
I only have a light on one home defense gun. I don't have a light on a carry gun.
Definitely makes it bigger, and then you got a huge holster. Typically.
Yep. I have a light for every single semi-auto I have. That 1911 I showed the picture of, I don't know if you saw the other picture. I have a second frame for it that has a rail on it. So I can put a light on it if I need.
Do you go for the brightest you can get, or go for bright enough? But if you're indoors,
I only own what I own, so I don't have money to buy anything. But if I did have money, the brightest you can possibly buy. Every time I would tell the story all the time about going out, and the first time I saw 500 plus lumen weapons lights, handheld, lights for handguns that were 500 plus LED lumens. Again, like, if you're in the situation where you have to pull the trigger and then justify it, you want as much light on the situation as possible. You want everybody around to see what's going on, and you own the night when you flip on 500 lumens. So yeah, and anybody that's whatever about a house, come on, just shoot it at, point the grenade at the ground. Doesn't matter. There's no negatives to a light that's bright, except that you can see everything. Except maybe the cost. It costs a lot.
I can definitely see that. And I've told the story before about when we were talking flashlights, a chat or two ago, being in that I can't remember. It must have been dawn because I think I was coming home. But it's where it was not dark but not light, and the flashlight I had didn't do a damn thing. That's it. In the dark, it was fine. It was perfectly fine. You could see everything you needed to see, but and kind of in that twilight where there's not quite enough to see very well. It, I realized I needed a lot better flashlight than what I had.
Yeah, I just checked. Mine are 600 lumen.
Mine's only 2, but like I say, I just have what I have. But I'd appreciate more lumens, the better. I've seen thousands. They're awesome, especially if you're out inside, obviously.
I think I have, it's either 5 or 6, the one that I have. And for inside, it'll light up any room, no problem. And then it does well in the dark outside. I haven't checked it in low light. I'll have to do that sometime. See how it does.
Holy crap.
And that's the other thing is everybody's like, well, I don't shoot in the dark. Well, number one, you don't get to choose. But 2, the what do you call the twilight, the dusk? That's where lights are game changers because you can't see nothing in dusk. Definitely your sights. Woods is asking about what light to get for that dagger. I'd say Surefire, but I'm sure everybody's got other opinions.
That's what I would like. When I get another one, I'd like to get a Surefire. I have an Olight, the Valkyrie Mini, which it does everything I was hoping it would do. I just would like a not Chinese light.
Oh, lights are made in China?
Yeah. Yeah, if you're willing to pander, they'll send you one for free.
I don't think they want the publicity from my channel. What do you think?
Oh, you never know. Is there anything else, or
my other light is this can't be 1,350 lumens. Seems like overkill
for a rifle or a handheld light.
It's big enough for a rifle, but it fits on my 1911s. Goes right to the muzzle.
And that's 2 1, 2, 3 batteries. So 3 volts basically.
Yep.
Or no, wait. Or 1, 2, 3s. They're 3 volts each, so that's 6 volts.
I don't know how many volts, but yeah, that's the it's those batteries. What are they called? 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, a little.
I never remember that stuff.
Yeah, the CR 123s.
Yep, but mainly they're twice as much. They're like one of them is like 2 AA's, so that's why they're so good. And then you put 2 of them in there, and it's like having 4 AA's basically, or powerful AA's, like having alkaline AA's.
Yeah, Woods was asking what brand?
On mine, Olight.
So what about lasers? I know G-Webs, you had laser grips for your little revolvers. I've got one for a rifle, but I bought it just to play with, not to.
I have those laser grips because when that company still was in business, they gave them to me, and they knew I had a cool collection, and I would take pictures of them all the time, and they wanted them on there. But I have shot them, but I don't shoot those guns even. I don't shoot them very often. But they would work with a laser when it's something that you're shooting from some other position than holding it normal. Then I think lasers have their use. And when you get old, or you're sitting in a wheelchair, or you're sitting in a chair, you're sitting in your bed, and something's going on, lasers got a use. They're just not something that you always want to go to, and that's all there is. And 100%, I'm just using my laser or whatever.
Yep.
You don't want to be using it like laser pointer for your cat or nothing either. But I appreciate lasers. I think especially a decent one, especially the Crimson Trace level and up, where they're made well and made in the USA. I mean, they're not toys. There are toy lasers. That's the problem. There's definitely garbage from gun shows and stuff that I'm not including. So that's the problem. Is most people think. I think some people think of the garbage at gun shows and think that's what I'm talking about, but I'm thinking more like Crimson Trace, a very well made rubberized grip that goes on a revolver usually. They can for other guns, but I'm thinking a revolver that's often, again, like you're using a revolver because somebody just jumped on you and you're wrestling on the ground and you're still wondering what's going on, and then something happens and you get a 6 foot distance, they're reaching their pocket. That's where a laser's handy, like what's going on. I know my gun is on them, and my laser's hitting them. Now I can focus on what they're doing with their pocket. And now you see a gun, pull the trigger. You know what I mean? Like, it's nice to have that input, but it has to be a rubber laser for all that to work.
I've thought about like the guide rod type lasers.
Don't think anymore about them because they can't
Oh.
aim. All they can do is be concentric, and they're a general idea, but they don't work good. They create a part in your gun that weakens your normal gun's parts. They have to interface with your gun, so they'll take your takedown and change it to a switch. So it's bad design in every way, shape, or form.
Oh.
Just from my experience, I don't get paid by the company to say that.
So my weapon lights have a laser built into them.
Oh, from the O-Light?
Yep. It's the Balder Mini and the Balder Pro.
I think the worst that happens is people see it, maybe. I don't know. I go,
The laser or the fact that I have a O-Light?
We're going to find that out because somebody's going to go, wait, that's just an O-Light. Like at some point in the gunfight, that's going to be said.
That's when they decide I'm not worth robbing because they know I'm poor.
Oh, there you go. That's smart. Like, oh, this guy's got an O-Light. Sorry, guy, and they throw you a couple of bucks.
Yeah.
There's this guy's a shell.
Oh yeah. But
yeah, they don't throw you a couple of bucks. They go, hey, will you sell our shoes? Will you wear our shoes in your next video?
I knew they had a bad reputation for breaking, so I bought enough that I can break a few of them. Still have them.
I haven't had a problem with mine, but it's only the one, so maybe I got a good one.
Anything's possible. Somebody's got to get a good one, right?
Whenever I worked at the shop, I would have my Surefire G2 or whatever in my pocket, the little thing that's like, it holds 1, 2, 3 batteries. It's got an LED head on it and some plastic. So it's like the standard size Surefire or whatever. A little bit fatter than a Sharpie marker. It's like about the size of a stack of nickels or a stack of quarters, right? A roll of quarters with a LED head on it. Anyway, somebody would come in and go blah, blah, blah about lights or whatever. And we only sold decent lights in the shop anyway. But then they would be going blah, blah, blah. I don't know if I should get this because the batteries, right? Those CR123 batteries are more expensive than regular batteries. And you have to, especially if you look at like camera batteries, they cost like $7 a piece or something. People think it costs you $14 to put batteries in your light. But whenever they'd be considering, debating it, I would go, here, let me show you. And I would just turn my light on and wing it at the brick wall as hard as I could. So I winged my G2 at the brick wall, I don't know, dozens and dozens of times. It never had any issues ever. It just made people go, oh, wow. Like you don't even think about it and you're willing to wing your light at that brick wall. They didn't necessarily buy a Surefire right away, but I'm pretty sure that makes people realize that Surefire's worth, whatever the extra bucks are.
Anything else, or we kind of talked out this topic?
I got a little thing.
Sure.
Speaking about batteries, how expensive they are. The Balder Mini has a rechargeable battery. You just attach a magnetic USB cord.
Oh,
it'll recharge.
That brings up another thing: whether to go rechargeable or replaceable batteries.
Mhm. I figure when the battery doesn't recharge anymore, throw it in the garbage, buy a new one.
How long have you had it? How long has you been charging it? Like, has that been an issue yet?
Couple years. I haven't noticed any. What would you call it? Battery life decrease. I think
Yeah,
it's
that'd be the
40
main
hours
thing.
of use.
Like, if it's like, oh, it charged, okay, great. Oh, the battery's empty, now I got to charge it again. Like, that's the worst case, right? Is that it just empties really fast or something?
40 minutes, not 40 hours. Jeez. My bad.
I've got both flashlights that are rechargeable, and then ones where they take like double A's.
Mm-hmm.
In emergency, I prefer the double A because I can just replace the battery. If you don't have power or you're away from power. But the convenience of the rechargeable is nice in day to day.
Well, if the rechargeable is in the form factor of AA, that's the best of both worlds, because then you can use either, but you can constantly recharge the one set you got. And out here, I don't know, I don't really use that much stuff. But back when I was camping more, having double A's in as many things as possible, and then having the solar AA charger, that's the way to go. You just have you have to have dozen batteries or something, because then you have, because they take a while to charge, but you always have a couple in the charger, and then no matter how fast you're using stuff, if you got enough batteries, you still got a couple charged ones always too.
And for long term, I've heard the lithium ones, batteries, the AA, AAA's, they don't leak. So I've got a bunch of those that I keep with our emergency supplies.
I'm so tired of leaking batteries. I just had that happen today. It's a pain in the ass.
I'm probably going to have it happen because I'm just sitting here thinking I can't remember the last time a battery leaked. But I guess now that I said that, I literally just said it, so it's going to happen.
Yeah, you pick up a TV remote and it's all wet. You're like, why is the remote wet? It's like, oh, I'm covered in battery acid. Great.
Battery acid's good for you. It gives you electrolytes, right?
Yeah. Helps you get new clothes faster, right?
Okay. I'm going to shut it down.
2 hour mark.
Yeah. We're up on 2 hours. Well, I guess I did some of the stuff I was supposed to do. Thanks to Shafty. Remembered the banner, but I forgot to do everything else. To say that if you watch this in replay, leave a comment. We can kind of keep the conversation going. If there's something that we missed, you think we missed, or that we were wrong about, go ahead and comment. I always look at the comments, and I appreciate them. I appreciate everybody that was out in the comments tonight. It's you guys and gals to make doing this really enjoyable. Not that I don't enjoy talking with Baron and G-Webs, but having people out in the chat to add to the conversation, brings in other ideas that we're not thinking about, keeps the conversation going. And I appreciate everybody that's on the chat, everybody that was here earlier. It's what makes it fun for me. Otherwise, this would be a very boring chat. But G-Webs? GearWebsites.com for 2A related stickers, patches, shirts, and other sundries. GearWebsites.com. You got a chat tomorrow. or later today, I guess it is now. G-Webs. What time is it at?
Yeah, I do. So after Gizzards' chat, that'll happen later on. And this morning, I'll be doing the look back at Instagrams at noon our time, which would be 3 p.m. on the metric time zones.
Baron, is there anything you want to plug?
If you live in Washington State, get some standard capacity magazines. Anything more than 10 rounds, because we are running out of time, and they're going to stop shipping to Washington any day now.
Yeah, I went to Cabela's, and the one in Lacey already got rid of all their PMags that were over 30. They only had 10 round magazines.
Closing time. Time to get your shit.
Let me play this real quick.
Disco is dead. Disco is not dead. Disco is life.
Wednesday night is the Wednesday night mouse parties, 10:30 p.m. And it is just a chat to have fun, hang out. Nothing too serious. There will not be one this coming Wednesday, though. Got some stuff to do, so I'll have to miss it unless Baron wants to fire up a chat. That's up to him. So we'll see what happens.
Kind of discount or rebate, or is there like a
no refunds?
Refund? Rain check.
Yes, I will give out rain checks. You can use on a chat at a later date. But other than that,
can watch like some future chat twice for no extra charge.
Yes. And coming up here in 6 hours will be Gizzard Gary and his morning Sunday chat. It's an open lobby. It's usually a pretty fun time to hang out in the mornings if you're up. So I'm probably forgetting lots of other stuff I'm supposed to do, but that's the way it goes. I hope everybody has a good Father's Day, whether you got kids or not. Yeah, have a good day.
I'm still here. It's over. Go home.